with in-depth interviews from your favorite sports icons. Check out the bench meeting hosted by Kenneth Bob on Sundays from 4 to 5 p.m. only on Win Media SKN.
Welcome. Good afternoon. Welcome to the bench meeting on this bright Sunday. I had a little bit of showers earlier. Bright Sunday, the second day of May 2021. And a warm welcome to all those in our diaspora who are listening in, those who are listening on radio and social media. It's again my pleasure to have with me on this bright Sunday afternoon Jaden, who used to be a regular with the bench meeting on the Monday evenings, but has since been pulled away due to school and his extracurricular activities, which we'll discuss a little bit more in the program. But needless to say, welcome, Jaden, and I guess there's a lot for us to talk about in terms of sports and everything else, yeah?
Glad to be back. It's been like since last year.
Yep.
Well, last year. So it's good to be back. Hope to talk some sports today.
All right. Well, let's begin then by, I guess what we could start with is the EPL, because that's ongoing right now. We both were paying keen attention to the activities today where Manchester United Liverpool, which is usually one of the most anticipated games of the season, especially for us fans, that was called off today due to fan protests. There's no statement yet officially as to when it will be rescheduled to, and I guess there's a lot of anger over there in the UK about Manchester United and what's going on.
Not for me necessarily. I think this is a statement that is much needed. I feel that the fans are angry and agitated with what the ownership is doing, especially with the European Super League.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's really making the fans really angry about what's going on at the top. You already saw Ed Woodward resigned already.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think it's coming to a point where they want the ownership to be handed off because it's been too much and it's been too long.
But do you think, given the positioning of the owners at this point, because they said they have more protests scheduled for later on, do you think the owners are going to be inclined to sell?
No, Man United is the biggest club in the world, and we all know that, and they see it as a money stream, and if you can relate to Arsenal with
Kroenke?
With the Spotify owner wanted to buy Arsenal.
Correct.
An actual fan, and I think that's what we want as well. Somebody that actually doesn't see United as just a team that has money just for money, because the Glazers not just only has United, they have NFL team, they have other teams, but Man United is the main, money revenue stream.
Mm-hmm. Because they have a lot of followers worldwide. But then, if that's the case, then if the fans have the power to slow that revenue stream, don't you think that's also in the sense that they are only successful based on their purchasing power? You mean what they have to sell? To put it, these fans are only as successful as their purchasing power. So choosing to go and subscribe to their channels and choosing to purchase their merchandise, choosing to do things to support them, yet saying that you're going out there and protest is sort of counterproductive, isn't it?
It's a statement, to say the least. That's all I can say. I feel that you can do all this, but the Glazers selling United, I don't see that happening. Even though that's what everybody wants, you just can't go outside and protest and tell somebody to, let go $50 million or $100 million.
It would be a few billion, actually.
A few billion, sorry.
It's supposed to be valued at $4 billion
well, unless
US dollars.
And I don't see them giving up the club. So I think this is a good act from the fans, but I think it'll all go in vain. So
let's see how it goes from there. I am of the opinion that I agree with you that the Glazers are not the best owners. I think that part of their issue has always been they do not know football. They may see the passion, they may see the excitement when they go to the stadium as a fan themselves, but they don't understand football. Unfortunately, for most American-based athletes, you don't grow up playing football unless you're female. And you don't understand the game, especially from the European perspective of things. And when it comes to which is it's fortunate and unfortunate, because when it comes to the Europeans and their football now, they are overly passionate about it. They are overly subject to emotions and expression of emotions, as in this instance sometimes, because I understand a policeman was hurt. And that's always something that you do not want to see happen.
And the COVID regulations too, they just went into the stadium. Some of them didn't even have on masks.
I saw one soldier take a ball and do a bicycle kick into the back of the net, man. I was like, wow, you know what I mean? You're right. There are a lot of things that could and did go wrong, and that's probably why they canceled the game or postponed the game, in the end. But in making a statement, sometimes, and this is just overall, in making your statements, you always have to have a follow-up.
For sure.
And not just for the purposes of making a statement. It must be something that you can do that will not necessarily grab attention by endangering others and stuff like that. But at the same time, look for other more effective, but yet not out. So, it's not like it's a big show. For example, as I said, stop purchasing the paraphernalia. Stop purchasing, stop signing up to the website, stop, if it involves putting money in their hand, that kind of thing. And eventually they are going, because from what I understand, Adidas, who is their kit sponsors, they are actually already complaining about their loss in kit sales, whilst Liverpool, their kit sales have gone up. So you're getting a situation where, because of their success now, and it's going to be, Liverpool now is attracting a lot of the younger fan base. So what happens is that the parents would now go and buy the shirts, and the children can now identify with the Liverpool players, which is once a position that Manchester United had, which is why you are a Manchester United fan, because you grew up during a period, or you were born during a period of its success, and you grew up seeing success from them up until 2013. So, and then the football is in cycles, but Americans, I was making the point that Americans do not necessarily understand this more often than not if you were born and you grew up in America. And for the Glazers especially, they were looking at it from the business perspective of when they purchased the club in the first place. They understood the commercial value. The appointment of Edward Wood was a commercial success for them, because they were able to make billions off of the club and its proceeds over the last 10 years of their ownership. And this is with the club being leveraged in debt, which is something I wouldn't go into in any greater detail. But needless to say, it is something that until they find some persons and put persons in charge who understand football from a European perspective, from a non-American perspective, then they are going to find themselves constantly at odds with the very same English and other fans that they need for support in order to keep this club sustainable. So it's an unfortunate circumstance. I appreciate what you're right in the sense that there has been simmering frustration with the Glazers and their management. I think it comes out of ignorance, out of cluelessness, and out of an insistence on doing things a particular way because it will bring you more money.
Agreed.
You understand? So it may not be a case where they necessarily don't like the club or they want to hurt the club. It's a case where when you don't know what you don't know, then you're basically just out there without a direction. what you knew was that you could make money, and that's what you put your focus on. And it was a success in that you made money, you sold t-shirts, you were able to make some big money signings. Most of them flopped. The team, however, understanding the football, understanding the football culture, understanding the team, understanding what you expect of the team in terms of excellence, they never appreciated that. And unfortunately, because they never appreciated that and what it takes to bring that, they've been ill-suited. And I don't know, maybe these protests might just be the beginning of a reconsideration on their part, because commercially it doesn't look good on them, especially with their ownership of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the recent champions, NFL champions. They may not want the bad PR that comes with their mismanagement, and their mismanagement being played all over the world, all over the screens and everything else. So it's going to be an interesting few months coming up, and then they don't have Ed Woodward anymore, so it's not like they have anybody to shield them anymore from the because the fans would have directed a lot of their frustrations against Ed Woodward, and they would hide behind him almost, because they never address the fans. They have not spoken to the fans, I think, twice in their entire reign has Joel spoken. The father, Malcolm, I think, was a bit more in tune to Manchester United culture, but he's now passed on, and I think they're suffering from that lack of knowledge, that lack of experience. And as you said, hopefully this might force change, but I'm not as hopeful as well, so yeah. We could touch a little bit on the IPL, at least some highlights. What have you got for me? Because I understand there were some pretty good West Indian performances, well, at least one that I know of in recent days. What you got on the IPL?
IPL wise, Kieran Pollard, he went 2 for 12 in 2 overs against CSK. That took place on yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah.
In the end, Mumbai Indians won. I mean,
get his scores because
219 to 6, to 280 to 4 for CSK. So Mumbai Indians won by 4 wickets, 0 balls left. So close match.
That was the last ball.
It looks like it, yeah. Otherwise, Kieran Pollard also went 87 from 34 balls. People really complain about DJ Bravo not, being involved in the game, because he knows Pollard from, prior experience in the CPL, and I guess knows him from the West Indies cricket team.
What was his performance? Did he play in that game?
I don't think so. That's why people are kind of upset about that.
Sorry.
So I guess normally Mumbai Indians have really gotten the better of CSK for the past couple of years, and not much surprises here. Otherwise,
what about Chris Gill? How is he?
Chris Gill has been a little bit shaky this season. He's at the back end of his career suddenly, and it seems that he hasn't really got his footing. He had one good game, I think. So otherwise, I feel that he's
struggling.
Yeah, a bit struggling on his performance.
And then you're talking about Gale, but with that same team, Nicholas Puran, he's not having a good season at all. In fact, there's been discussions about dropping him now. His outing this year is not as good as it was in previous seasons.
Yeah, it's been quite not the most.
Yeah, he hasn't been productive.
No.
Straight up, he has not been productive, and he ain't trying to. He's probably trying to be nice, but he can't be nice sometimes. He really hasn't been productive, and it's understandable. It's understandable that, but yeah, this knock by Kieran Pollard yesterday, I think it's a statement knock. I think it's a well executed knock. I took my time and I watched it again. He controlled his innings. He's also grown from the perspective of now he's normally to beat him, you'd bowl the ball wide off the off stump, just within the within the wide mark so you don't get called for a wide, obviously. And even those balls, he was catching now and placing them over the boundary. And the way he controlled, for example, in the final over, he had to face 6 balls. The batsman on the other end, I think, can't remember his name now, but he was not guaranteed. They had 15 runs, I should say. They needed 16 runs to win. And the first 2 balls, he could have gotten a run each from them, and he turned them down, right? And in turning them down is because he said in the interview after he backed himself to get those 16 runs in that over. He didn't want to leave it to the other player to do so when he knew he could do it. And so said, so done. He got it off the last ball, you know what I mean? So kudos to him and the bowling figures. The bowling figures as well indicated that he came in and he took, I mean, it's only 2 wickets, but I think it was Faf du Plessis he took, which is a huge, I believe it's du Plessis or the Cock, which one of the 2 of them. And was a huge wicket and then he got another wicket. He was on a hat trick, actually. And Panya, his captain, indicated that he says that he bowls with his heart, but he bats with his head, in the sense that he enjoys his bowling more, but he's a lot more of a thinker when he's batting. He's a lot more of a... So it's a lot, because, I mean, you're talking about the West Indies captain here as well. There's a lot that you're seeing his growth on the field, because he's not the captain of Mumbai Indians, but he's still performing captain's type of innings and knocks and performances. And this augurs well for the Mumbai Indians, but it also augurs well for him in the upcoming T20 World Cup. That's supposed to be later on down this year. So, and then we also have the CPL, which he probably will be going back home to captain the TKR. And do you want to make that announcement now again, or in terms of have a little discussion with the CPL, or we could leave it for later? All right, let's go ahead. We're done there already. So we acquired Bravo in exchange for Ramdin. Why are you laughing?
Sadly for TKR fans.
Okay. It's a smirk.
Well, Ramdin Ramdin's a good batsman, coming into the middle, experience especially. But I feel what we lack as a team is bowling. Our batting is normally good with Evan Lewis at the top, but last season was terrible, obviously. But no, with Bravo, we have a death bowler. Like, if you realize, in the past couple of seasons, we've never had, like, a bowler that was always at the death. And I feel that Dwayne Bravo, with the experience, somebody that can come in this season, and in our hometown of St. Kitts and Nevis, by the way, Dwayne Bravo is perfect, and I think that's also a captain for us, unless we...
But I don't know what the makeup of the team... It was rumored, I don't know if it's true, it's rumored that Gill coming back too, or that's confirmed.
If Gill and Bravo's on the same team, I feel that we have a team of experience. But also they're coming to the back end of their careers. That's also something that we have to watch out for. But experience always beats out talent at the end of the day.
Sometimes. But I'm thankful for, though, is that if it is that we can blood some of our SKN and Patriots youngsters.
Yes.
Give a few of them the opportunity to bowl at them, a few of them the opportunity to bat with them, that kind of thing, and learn from them. I think that would be a greater long-term benefit, because, you're talking about minimum 25 years between the two of them in T20 experience. He's still the highest run getter in T20 cricket, Christopher Gill. And Bravo is, I believe, up there in terms of the amount of wickets taken. If not leading, he is not very far behind number one.
The draft is supposed to occur sometime in May, so I guess we'll see how the teams form out.
So this was just a straightforward transfer.
Yeah.
So what about the retaining of the players? So how is that going to work? Or you're not familiar, are you?
There's no I guess that was an announcement made by the teams. I guess for our sake. I don't know. But nothing confirmed yet. I feel like the normal people will go back to their normal teams as usual. No big thing. Dre Ross back to Jamaica.
But I was
Sammy
hearing
back
Dre
to-
Russ might go Trinidad, to be honest, TKR.
I don't think that will happen. I'm sorry. That happened. That's going to be an interesting Kieran Pollard, Dre Ross at the back end of an innings. You know, that's a
that
dangerous
is-
duo
boy,
right there.
Yeah.
Sixes flying everywhere. Yeah. But
And then Jamaica now would literally have nothing, well, very little in there, depending on who they draft and
the
everything
thing
else.
about this season is that all games will be taking place in St. Kitts. And as we know, St. Kitts is a very small ground. So it's going to be a lot of sixes around the ground. It's going to be a lot of hitters. I feel that this season people need to focus on their bowling and most important, well, the bowling might not matter because even if you bowl a really good ball and somebody gets a little tap, it's going for six. So you need your batsman too. So it's going to be interesting to see, you know, and it's glad to be in our hometown. So
interesting point you make there about the season being held here. So you're expecting then a lot more high scoring games.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't get the impression that the pitch here as well, the pitches, because there will have to be numerous pitches. I don't get the impression that the pitches here as well do as much movement as, let's say, the spinners in India and maybe even in Trinidad. When you know, if you have day-night games, I don't get the impression that the pitches and the dew might cause a bit of an issue. But otherwise, the pitch is not going to give you that much variance. So if we could hold up, if the pitches hold up, then the biggest challenge will be for the bowlers trying to find ways of stemming runs in what really is supposed to be a run feast of a CPL season. From that perspective. So, I'm certain there's a lot more excitement to come for the Patriots. There's a lot more work. There's a lot more preparation.
We definitely have some. I'm intrigued about the draft this year. How they're going to build a team around Bravo, and especially if we retain Evan Lewis, our main run getter, our star.
I don't think they're going to let him go that easily.
Yeah.
You're going to have to do a lot to get Evan from us right
But
now.
if you also get Chris Gill, no, that's going to be...
Let Gill bat down the innings. If he bat at all, let him come on as a player coach, if anything. if you're having challenges.
I think he would like to play.
I know he would play.
It's a
He would
small
play.
ground, and I feel that it's easier for Chris
And he knows St. Kitts.
Yeah, he knows it.
He knows the pitch.
I think
Evan knows the pitch as well, very well by now too. So you don't want to
Chris
let go
Gill
Evan.
played in CPL in St. Kitts, I think he scored 100. Remember against Jamaica?
Yeah.
He came here, he scored 100. So...
he knows the pitch. I mean, are we still speaking hypothetically here,
Yeah.
because we're not certain that we're going to get him. But I think Bravo will be familiar with the pitch, but maybe not as familiar as I'm hoping. As I said, Evan, I'm thinking we will retain Evan. And in terms of the wicket keeping, because you realize now that Ramden is gone, are we going to go back for our boy Devon Thomas? Because
yes, I forgot about that. I don't think he played last season, did he?
I don't. Well, if he did, he didn't play with us.
No, he definitely didn't play last season because I feel that. I mean, Devon is a good wicket keeper.
He's a good keeper and I like him as a batsman. Yes, he's not the best, but when he hitting, when he's out there and he don't stick around, he just hit the ball. He's don't play around that kind of way. And I think we need a few of if our batting lineup is sufficiently stacked, then we may not depend on him as much as in previous seasons. But as I said,
also the COVID thing is going to make the teams a little bit less variety of. I don't think there was much English players last season, and plus people coming out after the IPL too might be a little bit hesitant to come play CPL. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes, though.
Well, I don't get the impression. I get the impression. I'll be brutally honest with you. My fear is that the players themselves will see St. Kitts as an opportunity to play cricket in what is a COVID-free environment. And if it's too much of an attraction, that is my fear that, once, obviously, the more persons that come at any given point in time, the more likelihood it is that somebody will probably have it, And the challenge would now be ensuring that we catch all of them as they land, and there's not much or anything at all slipping through the doors. I
Yeah.
think once we can confirm that and we can manage that aspect, especially when teams start to arrive and, you know what I mean? I think the bubble is already created from the perspective that, and I ain't going to go into too much detail on this here now. I think the bubble is already created from the perspective that St. Kitts is COVID free. So all we need to do is protect the bubble, you know, and
They did it good last season, so
the logistics of it, let's see how it goes. I think once the players and everything can get in early and do the quarantine and you know, I think it will be all right. You know, as I said, the whole test from there would be making sure it doesn't pass through your borders or no one passes through your borders and passes it on. Anyways, that's a bit too heavy for today's discussion. So, yeah, that's a bit of it on the CPL. So in terms of CPL announcements, DJ Bravo, welcome to St. Kitts and Nevis. And Dinesh Ramdin, thank you for your year of service, or your season of service. And we look forward to putting some licks in you this season, later on, CPL T20 2021. I will have a greater discussion with senior officials on the CPL and the bidding process, the excitement surrounding it, the plans in place on a following episode, and I'm certain that I will announce it so that the listeners would have an idea as to when to listen in accordingly. What else do we have? We have the NBA basketball season. Well, it's more the playoff run at this point.
Yeah.
What's your early predictions?
Early predictions. Well, the season has been quite surprising to me, especially out in the West.
Mm-hmm.
We see the Suns up there, the Jazz up there. Well, Jazz normally in the top four like last couple seasons, so not really a surprise from Jazz, but seeing them up at the top of the Western Conference, especially with the Lakers there. You have the Mavs and the Clippers, those guys. To see them up there is really surprising, you know. The Jazz, they don't seem like a stacked team. I think they have Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell, which I think Donovan's out for the season, not going to lie. Otherwise, they're a good team, but I never expected them to be up
playing
there.
this kind. Now, I'll tell you something about Jazz. From the days of Karl Malone and John Stockton, Jazz have always been a very good, well-organized,
Franchise.
regular season team. I think the only thing that stopped them from winning a championship was
Okay.
Jordan,
Yeah.
right? And that season, everything was placed for them. I think they had home court advantage and all of something they saw. In any event, they were supposed to win that season. Like the Seattle Supersonics when they had John Stockton, what's his name? Gary Payton and Sean Kemp. They were eating everybody food. I'm talking about alley hoops cannot done. I mean, Sean Kemp to this day is still one of the best dunkers I have seen. But again, you run into Jordan, you can't go nowhere. What I would say about Jazz, though, is don't write them off because they're organized.
Yeah.
And the other teams that's supposed to be front running, something wrong with them.
Yeah. In second, we have the Suns. The Suns didn't even make the playoffs last season. So to see, they all guess what I realized now. Last season, Oklahoma City Thunder made the playoffs.
Right.
Oklahoma didn't have anybody but who?
Chris Paul.
Chris Paul goes where?
Suns.
What happens? They're in
Suns make the
second in the Western Conference. Chris Paul, I feel like people, just because Chris Paul is 34, 35 years old, people think Chris Paul can't get it done. Obviously, Chris Paul is making playoff teams, that they're not supposed to be playoff teams. Chris Paul didn't have anyone, not one All-Star with the Thunder. They still put up a fight in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And they're the second seed. They're the second. The Lakers are sixth right now. Sixth. Everybody had the Lakers coming top seed. I mean...
But they're suffering from injuries. You got to give your Lakers fans a little bit of a ease because...
No, I can't. Because everybody said...
Injured, okay?
They're
LeBron
injured.
was injured for a large part of the season and
Okay, so you take LeBron away from that team. Is the Lakers winning the chip?
No.
If you take 80 from that team, are they winning the chip?
No.
Okay.
But don't let the LeBron fans hear you say so.
Well, listen, LeBron fans, I'm sorry, but the Lakers, I don't think might win the
I didn't say it. Just let everybody know out there, I did not say it.
Listen, the Lakers right now, they need to get their act together out there. But, because, right, if you look at them right now, the Warriors are 32-32, and they're ninth. So if the Lakers don't get their act together quickly, which I think they will because LeBron's back.
Yeah, but the Lakers are 36-27 is a huge, in fact, huge according to Donald T.
Yeah, a couple losses and they're back down there, though.
No, that's 14 games, son. That's like 9.5 to 14 behind. That's a minimum of 8 games behind you. There's no way you catching up anybody there in the Western Conference. Why are they so horrible this year, though? The Golden State Warriors.
Well, Curry. I think Curry got injured, and Klay Thompson was supposed to come back. I think it's only Curry on that team and Draymond, and I think that they need that old, and COVID's been hard. COVID's have been like taking players out of certain games, injuries everywhere, trades. So yeah, Western Conference, Eastern Conference. I would say no surprise here.
Before you leave the Western Conference, talk to me about the LA Clippers. What do they say?
Listen, the Clippers. I can't talk about the Clippers, man. The Clippers have always been
Also ran
the shadow of the Lakers, and they will forever be. Kawhi, where's Kawhi? I don't see Kawhi. I haven't seen him in years.
I haven't heard. Who's that again?
I don't know, man.
Oh yeah, he did win a championship. We're gonna give man some respect. Man.
He won two. But yeah.
Oh yeah, one with the Spurs. Yeah. He benefited from.
I don't see Kawhi, man.
Kawhi needs a team right now. That's what
no, he doesn't need a team. Like he had the Toronto Raptors. He didn't need a team in Toronto. He had Kyle Lowry. That's it.
Yeah, but I think his problem was he went and tried to do a LeBron and try and set up his own power team.
Yeah.
And what people need to realize, part of LeBron's genius is the fact that he was able to utilize player power.
Yeah.
To set up power teams.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's not a business model that can successfully work in each and every instance.
Yeah.
However, then persons would tell me, look at the Brooklyn Nets. But then we always had, what's his name? Oh boy.
Who? What are we talking about? The super teams?
The Nets big man.
Oh, KD.
Kevin Durant. I don't even know. I forgot his name. He has always been LeBron's, like, if LeBron is a villain, he's been the superhero, and the two of them have always been, like, at it. So LeBron went in for a super team, he went and joined a super team. You know what I mean? And then now he going to form back a super team because LeBron formed a super team. And now Kawhi won't get in there now by forming his own super team. And Kawhi, you know what he's doing. You know what I mean? Let the coach and them deal with that day.
Yeah.
He going to have to trade out of LA Clippers to actually become relevant again. Because if it is he stays there, he ain't going nowhere again with his career. He could call them 2 rings. Call them 2 rings the best he can go.
Okay. I think he has one more in him though.
Yeah, but he can't not be the Clippers.
I mean, with a couple of trades, you can make that Clippers team a good team.
No.
Yeah, with a couple of trades, you have Paul George there. Paul George.
He flopped.
Playoff. Yes, I know. Playoff P.
I don't.
Playoff P. That's all I have to say. Playoff P. Anyways.
Yeah, go ahead.
Eastern Conference. Well, I'm a Celtics fan. We're not doing so well. We just got Jabari Parker from the trade deadline. Used to be a top pick in the NBA draft a couple years ago. We're at 34-30. We're expecting to be up there.
Start at the top, please. You're talking about the number 16. You just in the same position as Lakers,
Hey,
9.5 games off the bottom. Lakers 9.5, you 9 games off the bottom. But you say Lakers horrible, but Celtics.
Yeah,
finish what you say.
It's been a disappointing season. Anyways, as I said, let's start from the top, as you said. The Nets. Listen,
No, finish what you say, but the Celtics, though. Go ahead.
I feel that the Celtics right now, we're lacking some stuff, some pieces. We need one more piece to become a championship contending team. We have Jason Tatum. He dropped 60 points.
Yes, I read about that.
Otherwise, you have the Heat, also on the same record. NBA champions last season. No, not NBA champions. NBA runner-ups last season.
Eastern Conference champions.
Yeah,
And whose food they ate again?
Who's eighth?
Whose food they ate?
Okay.
Go ahead.
The Celtics. But we're not gonna get into that because surprisingly, the Knicks.
New York.
The Knicks.
Uh-huh.
We see them in the fourth seed. I mean, it's not hard. It is hard to believe. I can't. The Knicks normally, we haven't seen the Knicks in years, and sometimes like the Knicks are ahead of my Celtics and ahead of the Heat and ahead of the. They're normally 15th in the conference every year, but I don't know what's going on. I don't know what happened to the team. I guess Julius Randle. I don't know who went to the team. Let me. I don't know. With the Bucks up there too. Giannis. Usual third seed. Second seed, the Sixers, surprisingly. Well, not surprisingly. They have Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, a couple of other pieces.
Yeah, they
too.
always do well in the regular season as well. Too.
As you know, Joel Embiid is going to choke, cry next season again. It's a cycle.
Yeah, it's a cycle. Philadelphia.
The Nets, 43-21. Not surprising, but I'm going to tell you guys now. If anybody's expecting the Nets to win this season, they're not going to win this season. Let me just tell you that right now. The Nets are a team of ball handlers. Kyrie, what's Kyrie?
A ball handler.
James Harden, what's James Harden?
Ball handler.
Kevin Durant.
Ball handler.
Okay. That's all I have to say. And it's going to come to a point where they're just going to keep ball handling.
Blake Griffin.
Listen, Blake Griffin, I don't consider Blake Griffin an all-star anymore.
What?
Nah, he's
that man just left
washed.
Detroit.
He's
just
washed.
Detroit. Off of after injury, but the injuries is what killing him.
Listen.
Blake, and I think that's the problem, because they were able to pick up too many of these often injured but still have something in the tank and something to prove stars. It's Blake Griffin and this other guy from San Antonio they recently picked up as well too.
LaMarcus, but he's
LaMarcus Aldridge. He's injured right now.
No, he's retired.
Oh, he's retired now.
Yes,
he left the team.
He had a heart. I don't know what it was, but it was something that made him retire. But it was a serious.
Okay, I didn't even know that. Thanks for the update. But in any event, with a man like Blake Griffin, you're still talking about somebody that could give you 20 points, 10 rebounds a game once healthy. And those are the type of the differences that make you a dangerous team. Will they win? No. I don't know.
No,
I don't know. I can't make any real predictions right now. But if they can stay injury free, I do not see any team currently stopping them. Which is the team you're going to see stopping them? Lakers. But you're just saying
a healthy Lakers team.
But are you going to get a healthy Lakers team in the playoffs?
Yes.
You sure?
LeBron's not going to miss the playoffs. I doubt LeBron's going to come with this load management or something like that. You know what I mean? Anthony Davis load management, something like that. So it's going to be. So
you think that Lakers will win the Western Conference?
If they have a full team of Anthony Davis, LeBron James, Andre Drummond, Andre Drummond, the best rebounder in the league right now. Who's stopping Andre Drummond and Anthony Davis?
You know the thing is, right? I was saying this when the boy was playing at Detroit. Nobody had any appreciation for Dre Drummond. You understand? All of a sudden, he gone Lakers. The man is the best rebounder in the
He is. I've always said Andre Drummond is the best rebounder in the league.
Well, not to me, because I remembered when he was playing in Detroit.
Because nobody cares about the Pistons. Where's the Pistons right now? 15th, 19-45. They're in the Eastern Conference. That's kind of embarrassing.
Right. And anyway,
they lost Blake and they lost Andre.
Yes, they're rebuilding.
They have been.
But I am also a New York. I'm also as you well know, a longtime New York Knicks fan.
Okay,
so
Stephen.
I take a little bit of pride in Knicks positioning. And yes, you're talking about a resurgent Knicks who has not been to the playoffs now in forever. When they were fighting with Carmelo Anthony, I believe was the last time. And these guys are performing like I have never seen them. Kudos to Coach Tom Thibodeau, who used to coach the Chicago Bulls. And I believe he went on to coach, he'll come back to me in a bit. But the New York back office team changed about 3 years ago. after they got rid of Phil Jackson, and they brought on this guy called Leon Rose and a few others. And it seems as if they're genuinely trying to build a very, very, very capable, hardworking New York team. And it is fun to watch them play. Early in the season, they were winning little 1-2 against the weaker teams. Well, they were beating the weaker teams and losing to the stronger teams, you know? And they were losing like 1-point games, 3-point games, and this kind of thing. I was like, this is New York, Chad, because, you know, New York always used to just fold, you know? And now all of a sudden they started turning those 1-point and 3-point losses into wins behind Julius Randle, RJ Barrett,
Obi Toppin,
Derrick Rose comes in now. Everybody comes in. This is the guy who came on recently, Nerlens Noel. He's probably up there in the blocks right now. At least he's averaging 3 to 4 blocks a game. You know what I mean?
Imagine the world if the New York Knicks wins the NBA championship. The world will go.
Yeah, it would definitely be the end of days. Maybe I'm getting a little bit too carried away and ahead of myself here, but I just feel like the Knicks was never supposed to be this good at this stage already, you know, and they have a lot of cap space. So if it is that they can do sufficiently well in this upcoming playoffs, because right now they're battling it out with the Hawks for the 4th position, that means they'll probably have to face the Hawks, who they've thumped almost every game so far this season, right? To get you to the second round. So you talk about a second round versus potentially this is just me being hypothetical here. Potentially at this stage, the Knicks could be facing
the Nets.
No. It will be the Nets. It will be Oh, shucks.
Well, man, if the Knicks beat the Nets, man, that's gonna be. I think they have beat them in the past. I don't remember exactly.
That's a bit much there. And the too many games behind Milwaukee to catch Milwaukee for the 3rd seed. In fact, Milwaukee's already locked in as a guarantee for the playoffs. Yeah. You know, the Nets and Philadelphia 76ers actually fighting it out for the number 1 position.
So what you get?
I hope I get Philly. If right now, I wish the Nets would not win. Be first in the league, and Philly become first in the league. If Philly become first in the league, I believe New York could take Philly. I believe New York. I'm serious. I believe New York Philly semi-final, Eastern Conference semi-final is very possible. It's very, very possible.
Okay, so how much games are gonna take them to? How much? Nick?
Philly boy, New York, how they playing now? I feel they could even make the conference finals.
Huh?
I think they could beat Philly.
You know who's on Philly's team?
Yeah, I know. The same people that earlier on you were saying this choke every playoffs and then blames Joel Embiid.
But if they throw against the Knicks, man, no, trade that whole team.
But the Knicks beating everybody now.
Half the team not there. Listen, this season is messed up. I'm telling you.
But that's what I'm saying.
Don't be surprised if you see the Celtics winning the championship this year. You know?
Who? Come on, not even you saying that with any kind of conviction. So don't come here with me and that there at all with Celtics. But overall, it is the Nets season to lose, conference to lose.
Yeah.
I don't see, outside of my New York Knicks, I really don't see anybody else. Yeah.
I sense a little bit of bias here.
Yeah, the Brooklyn, the Eastern Conference. Okay, so here's my prediction. The Eastern Conference championship will be won by a New York team this year. Either the Brooklyn Nets.
No, okay, yes, the Brooklyn Nets will
or
be
the
winning
New
the
York
Eastern
Knicks.
Conference. If the Knicks, I will literally buy a whole Knicks shirt until the Knicks will ever be my team. If they win anything close,
okay,
they won't get
boss.
out the first round.
Okay, boss.
I guarantee that.
Oh, so wait, no. I want to find out at what stage you're willing to make this commitment. Is it after the first round win, or the conference
If they win the second round and get to the conference finals,
yeah,
I will personally buy a Knicks shirt, personally, and wear it on the show.
all right, okay. All right. And then if they win the conference finals by some happenstance and they're conference champions, you're a New York Knicks fan for life.
For life. Forever.
All right.
I watch every game.
All right. You heard it here on the bench meeting. Okay. Let's go New York. The other teams, Milwaukee. What's going on with Giannis? I mean, is he?
He's doing Giannis things.
Yeah. Is he going to be one of them that's on the trading block this off season?
No. I think he signed a Supermax I think it was a year ago, 2 years ago. I don't remember.
With the same
Yeah. He's locked in with Milwaukee for the rest of his career.
Oh boy, sorry to hear that for him. Atlanta Hawks. Yeah, as I said, New York can deal with them, so me ain't worry about them at all. Miami Heat, they are a dangerous team. What's going on with them? Why are they so low in the?
Same thing with the Celtics. I feel that some players are out. Sometimes they can't have a full squad. COVID regulations, blah blah blah. I think it's the same.
Are they still healthy enough to be ready for the playoffs, or do you think
we have to wait a little bit more to see what happens? I feel that they have a chance.
Because potentially you're talking about a Miami Heat, either Brooklyn Nets or Philadelphia 76ers first round match.
Yes.
So it is and you don't rule out Jimmy Butler against the likes of the 76ers and stuff like that. So it's going to be an interesting playoff running to see who gets what position. I also wanted to give a mention to the Dame fans in Portland. They're safely, I think, in number 7th position in the East.
$1 billion.
And the Memphis Grizzlies pulling up in the West, apologies, and the Memphis Grizzlies bringing up the rear in the West, as is.
Those are first round exits. So
surprise also in Charlotte Hornets.
Not really. LaMelo Ball, Gordon Hayward. The East is weak. Not really that much surprise. Don't count the Nuggets too. They got Aaron Gordon from the Magic. And they have Jokic. They have
we kind of blew over them. I agree with you. We kind of blew over them, and I remember they went to conference finals last year.
Yeah, but they don't have Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray is out for the season, I think, with an ACL injury.
Oh boy, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
But that's the one with Kristaps and Luka.
No, that's the Mavs.
But Mavs, so you can rule out the Mavs either then.
I don't see the Mavs doing. I think Luka's had an off season this season, not really the best season for Luka. But we'll see. Anything happen. It's the playoffs, so anything happen.
Yeah. Maybe they're still bruising from last year's playoffs. They were dumped by Denver, weren't they?
The Clippers.
Yeah.
The Clippers.
The Clippers is who spanked them last season.
Yeah. It was the Clippers, because remember, I think Luka only had one shot. Then remember the Clippers lost to the Nuggets.
Yeah. Oh yes. That is correct. Memory is better than mine. All right. So yeah, that covers the highlights in terms of what's happening in and around the world in the sports world. I wanted though to spend a few minutes just discussing in terms of the last few weeks you've disappeared, months you've disappeared off the program and otherwise, and I think some of the listening public might be interested to find out, what's been happening in terms of your sporting activities.
So around mid-January, I've decided to pick up a sport, and that sport is volleyball. Volleyball, I always saw. I know this might sound a little bit wrong. I always saw volleyball as a female sport, which is not the case at all. I always thought, volleyball, it's pretty easy. I could do it. It's not. It's really not. But it's one of the sports that you enjoy over time. I think what really got me into it was I think I saw a show, and I think it was an anime, and I watched it. And when I saw it, I was like, whoa, this is actually a good sport with a lot of dynamics to it that you don't really, see when you look at it first time. You think, let's hit the ball over, simple as that. It's a lot more than that. When you actually learn about the game. And, recently, after the couple months, I think it was last month, where I started a tournament with my team, Alphas. It was me, my friend Kush, Jordante, DeAndre, and there was 2 other people named Brandon and Javid on our team.
It was a 4v4 tournament?
Yeah,
Yes.
4v4 tournament. I'm an outside spiker. I'm not the best receiver yet. I still have a lot to learn as in that because I only started in January. But there's a lot more to volleyball than just what you think it is. It's a lot of steps, a lot of movement, it's a lot of work. And I've put it on myself, that when we lost all our games, but we won 2 sets. But noted that this team has never won 1 set in its whole entirety.
Mm-hmm.
So it's improvements after every day. We're learning new things. We're learning to calm down our ego because even though we want to win, we are so confident we can win. We had teams 24-21. We've had teams literally where we could have won games and we always ended up losing. And I felt last night when we played, we lost and it really broke our hearts. We weren't saying anything, Even this morning, I said, no. This afternoon, I was literally... For 2 hours this afternoon, I said, listen, I can't let these guys beat me. Next time I go on this court, you see me out there in my living room doing push-ups, doing setting, doing receiving in my house because I know I can't let people just bring me down like that. You know what I mean? I hope my guys are doing that.
Let's not bring you down. It was a game that you should have won.
And we lost.
And you lost.
Yeah. And I think what happened is they brought on, there was a guy sitting down for the entirety of the game, and as he saw that they were losing, the spiker, the spiker.
Older gentleman?
No, the young one.
Or the young fellow?
Yeah.
I know him because I've seen him. I don't know his name, but I know exactly the young.
Yeah, he came on, and then as soon as he put on 2 good serves, and then morale just boom fell. And then we ended up losing 15-13 third set. But I'm very proud of what we've been able to accomplish. I think part of me, I feel that when I'm on the court, there's a lot of anxiety for me, to do well, make sure my team's not losing. But, I think I put a lot of pressure on myself, and then I realized I'm doing too much on the court.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm not focusing on what I actually have to do. So I think that comes over time. You're really nervous. You end up doing stuff that you don't even mean to do. But I feel that I'm proud of myself, and I feel that I'm working to what I want. I think that volleyball is a sport that I want to continue to do, especially these next couple years, and maybe hopefully if I decide to travel and go overseas with it. So it's a really good sport, and I recommend. I think it's Mondays and Wednesdays for males, and it's Tuesdays and Thursdays for females. So I recommend anybody that has an interest in the sport, please come on down. It's an accepting community, and we'll gladly accept you. Yeah.
Okay, so let me give you my little take on it.
Yeah.
First of all, every time I've been to the court, because I've visited the court a few times.
Oh, yeah.
Every time I've been to the court, I've been assaulted because I tried a little volleyball something a few years ago. And
Which team were you on? Which team?
It was a Digicel team at the point.
Y'all won? Semifinals?
No. Well, did we? I think we got as far as qualification, but we were never. I mean, you're talking about me, Sean, Phyllis.
Wait, Sean as in?
Sean Latty, yeah. Phyllis, this harass you on the sidelines.
Yeah.
It was Cupid, who plays for one of the teams there now. So it was not and I was perhaps one of the taller persons, so the expectation of blocking and hitting was coming from me, and I had no I don't think I ever developed the proper rhythm for hitting, so very rarely would I get a proper spike, anyways, it's not about me. Anyways, when I got to the court, everybody told me, Phyllis included, she rubbed it in my face, that you are a much better volleyball player. And I'm like, how could they be saying these things? And you only playing volleyball since January. Now, as a father, I felt a certain sense of pride because I was like, okay, good. Well, that means it's something that you have taken up and you're really pushing with it, right? But the remarkable thing, and I really hope that you get this message across to Kush, Jordante, and your other team members. The remarkable thing is that having watched you guys play 4v4 against some of the national volleyballers and persons who have been playing volleyball for an extended period of time, I saw you play the first round. And some games I refused to go to because I told Angelina that I felt like sometimes if I go to the games, I put that additional pressure on you to perform, and you sometimes don't focus on the games. Nonetheless, I was very selective about which games I went to, and I saw you guys struggle with communication, and that's what it all comes down to. Communication, when it comes to failure in teamwork, it comes down to failure in communication. And I think that's because this is the first time you all were playing together like this as a team, and this is the first time I think most of you would have entered into kind of any real kind of competitive sport on a serious level like that, again, as a team.
Yeah.
So there are going to be communication issues. But I saw the growth. I saw when Ole throw all your tantrums. I saw the growth to when you were able to talk through your challenges. I saw the growth from when one person wanted to take all the responsibility to when that person started to share responsibility, and when others started to understand their roles. And when I saw the growth in DeAndre when he couldn't properly pass in the beginning, but now DeAndre doing all kind of acrobatics. I saw the growth in Kush where he thought he wanted to be there as a blocker and set in the middle. I remember that when the guy who was coaching you had, and then he was able to accept, okay, now I understand why Jordante is a better blocker and I'm a better setter. I saw your growth in the sense I saw you understanding the game. Your passing improved, your hitting improved, and your serving. Oh my goodness, you guys serving. Remember how you guys used serving in the first few games? It was horrible. I mean, you threw away tons of points, but each of you developed a different serve that were actually very, very challenging serves. This is to tell you how much I pay attention. Kush has a serve that just glides on top of the net and then dips just around the middle. Once he hits it properly, it always puts pressure on the receiving team. DeAndre has developed a long hit, but then it dips. It looks like it's going long, and then it dips just before it goes to drop inside. And most teams have a problem trying, because there's usually persons who are receiving at the back trying to figure out whether to leave or to pick up. You now have this thing where you have two. You either hit it hard, pow, and it goes, right? It will go over the net because you have the height to do it. Or you would do a pat with the intention of having it drop just inside, just inside by the setter.
Yeah.
And I've seen the improvement even from that perspective. So congratulations to you. Congratulations to the team. I really hope you guys stick with the sport. I don't know if the team itself could remain together, but if possible, try and do that. I know you and I have had a lot of discussions as to balancing it as well, because you must balance it with the schoolwork and the responsibilities as it relates to the schoolwork. So I guess from here on in, for the rest of the next few months, all of you should be locked in to your books, trying to get yourselves prepared for your exams. But barring that, and outside of that, if once you guys can rekindle that type of camaraderie, that type of communication that improves, that type of performance, I am certain that not only you would be winning sets next season, but you guys are going to be challenging a lot of those teams, and you would surprise yourselves as to how far you all can go. So congratulations to Team Alpha. Last night was your last game, and it was your hardest loss because it was your closest game. You could have won that one. You were up 8-2 in the final set, and then you lost it 15-13. But it's part of the growth process, and I can say congrats to you, congrats to the Volleyball Association for the work being done, because obviously it's a practice and hard work being committed by Sean, Penny, Glenn, and the team who continuously doing a lot of work. There's a lot of exciting things coming up in the summer and next year for volleyball. So as Jade mentioned to the listeners out there, if you have children who may be interested or just slightly, just take a walk over to the Warner Park area, follow up with Netball City, and follow protocols. Obviously, you'll see some netball going on, and then you'll see the volleyballers of all ages now in, and they're all having a very, very fine time. So it's been an interesting program, Jay. Thank you for being here. Probably last we'll hear from you until after exams.
Yeah, summertime I'll be back.
And we'll see how it goes from there. And to all our listeners, thank you for tuning in with us tonight. As far as the bench meeting is concerned, we discussed quite a bit, and it was very enjoyable. And I look forward to seeing and discussing greater topics with all of you come next week.
Shout out DJ Bravo. You know, maybe we can make a song together for St. Kitts, you know what I mean? DJ Bravo.
Well, we will see if he gets the message, and we can work on that. All right, but yeah, shout out to all listeners, and hey, maybe we could try and get an interview with him or something sometime.
Totally.
During some of the CPL. Yeah, good idea. All right, yeah, we can sign out here now. So have a great afternoon, one and all, and thank you for joining us at the bench meeting. Have a good afternoon.